Rick, what did you eat last night?
Well, Kate, I had a farro dish. I had farro with mushrooms and hazelnut. This is a recipe I've been sitting on for a while. I got it off of Rachel Ray, and it looked really great, and I've been wanting to make it, so I finally went through the trouble of making it.
Hazelnut.
I know, right? Have you worked with hazelnuts before?
No. And now I'm wondering why, because I love hazelnuts.
Oh, I'll tell you why. Because they're really hard to work with, and I'll never work with them again.
Really?
No.
Maybe that's why I don't see them so often in recipes. Tell me.
Her hazelnut called for skinless hazelnuts, so I shopped and looked online for skinless hazelnuts. Couldn't find any. Then, of course, everyone's like, take the skin off yourself. It's super easy. It was a freaking nightmare. There were 3 different methods I tried. They were all a nightmare.
Oh, no.
The skin only came off like 10 of them. So I barely had any hazelnut in the recipe. When I finally was eating the recipe and got a hazelnut, I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. That was a well-earned hazelnut bite.
Now, let me ask you, do you think it would have been okay to just leave the skin on in retrospect? Would that be better than having no hazelnut?
I did not try it, and everything I read said not to because it's too bitter.
Bitter, right. Okay.
Yeah, so no one wanted to because I thought about throwing them in, but it's like, Rick, you have a lot of money invested in all the other mushrooms in this dish. You don't want to ruin the entire dish.
No, good point. Good point. Do you have leftovers?
No, I threw them all away. Because the other thing is, one of the methods you have for getting the skin off is you can bake them in the oven for like 10, 12, 15 minutes. And everyone's like, is very clear about don't go over. They'll taste terrible. So I was super nervous about roasting them longer, but then I roasted them like 20, 25 minutes, and the skin, because after you roast them, you're supposed to like put them in a towel and rub them all together, and the skin just falls off.
I have seen that lie. I've witnessed that.
It would never happen. I was like, oh my God. And then I did taste them after I cooked them for like 25, 30 minutes. I mean, yeah, they don't taste awesome. And the other method is to boil them, right? And then once you boil them, dry them off. Or once you boil them, put them in cool water, right? And then just rub them all in between your hands again. The skin comes right off. That didn't work. And the funny thing is I overbought the hazelnuts by accident. Because, they're pricey. But I'm like, thank God I did, because I had to go through 2 methods. So by the end of both those methods, I literally had maybe 10 hazelnuts. And all the skin wasn't even off those 10. But I'm like, all right, I can salvage those. I literally threw all the others right into the trash can. Do you know those memes you see about how to eat a pineapple pizza, and they'll cut a pineapple pizza into 4 quarters, and then they just throw it in the trash can?
Yeah.
I could have done that with hazelnuts.
That is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
How was the rest of the dish?
Oh my God. It was good / intense. So basically I cooked the farro. It called for dried porcini mushrooms, which you rehydrate. It called for cremini mushrooms, which I couldn't find, so I just got shiitake. And then it called for hen of the wood mushrooms. So pretty simple, right? You have to hydrate the porcini mushrooms, which, just put them in water for 10, 15 minutes, not even a big deal. And then in a pan, you put olive oil, shallots, garlic, and thyme. And you let that cook for a little bit. You add the shiitake mushrooms. You put a little bit of wine in, let that boil off. And then you add the cooked farro. You put that in. And then you add the rehydrated porcini mushrooms. And this was the important thing I really loved about the recipe. The juice that you rehydrated the porcini mushrooms in, you pour that in, so that the flavor of that liquid permeates the whole dish. And that made it really, really spectacular, I have to say. And then you put in kale, some grated Parmesan, what you have of hazelnuts, if it works out for you. And
your 10 partially skinned hazelnuts.
Exactly. And a little bit of lemon juice, salt, and pepper.
Yeah.
Now wait for it. I'm not done. So on top of that, then also in the oven, you're baking the hen and the wood mushrooms, which are really those wonderful mushrooms that look like flowers, and they flake apart really well. And then you just shave scallops. You put them in there with salt, pepper, and olive oil, and you let them bake. And this turned out to be the most amazing find, because that combination of the shallot and the hen of the wood mushrooms was really amazing. And you put this on, and it's like you know those fried onion things you get? And you put on that green bean thing at Thanksgiving? They're sort of reminding me of that. So much flavor, so much texture. You sprinkle them on top. And you could also
I love a crispy shallot, yeah.
Right? And you could eat them by yourself.
So it's a combo crispy shallot mushroom.
Yes, and that's what you top the whole dish with.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
It was delicious, but it was way too intense. Because you know how much I like mushroom. Even I'm like, this is a lot of mushroom flavor going on. And I
That
could
was
not eat a lot of it.
mushtastic. Yeah, especially with the sort of mushroom broth that went into it, too.
Yeah, the mushroom broth really sent it over the edge.
Yeah.
So needless to say, by the whole time this ordeal was done, I was exhausted. So I went right into the Rachel Ray producers because that's where, obviously, I got the recipe from. I'm like, what's up with the hazelnuts?
Where do you get skinned hazelnuts? Did you
really
check
hard.
Trader Joe's?
I do. Yeah, I checked Trader Joe's. I checked Whole Foods. I went online. I couldn't find any online that I could get within a decent amount of time.
Oh, well, that's weird.
Yeah. So, yeah. Fun. Learn some new things. And that hen of the wood mushrooms and shallot combination, it worked wonderfully the next day on some avocado toast. So tasty.
Lovely.
Now that has taken probably well over 5 minutes to tell you that story, what did you eat last night, Kate?
Well, I went to a friend's place and we ordered Indian food.
Fun.
And it was delightful. It's also why I'm all congested because these friends smoke cigarettes in their house.
Oh, no.
And they do it by an open kitchen window. And it was like 7 below yesterday or something, or colder with the wind chill. And the wind is actually blowing it into the apartment. And I don't know what happened because I used to smoke like a chimney. And now I've become one of those people who's like, and I don't like to smoke. And it's annoying. I'm like, I'm allergic. And this is what I'm thinking. That's not what I'm saying. But it was miserable. And from the minute I walked in, I've just been blowing my nose. And now I have what feels like a sinus infection or a cold. And I suppose it could be a coincidence that it arrived the second I walked in their house. But probably not. But anyway, that's why I'm congested today. And also, we had Indian food. So we had a paneer tikka masala that was delicious. A really nice tikka masala sauce. The samosas, which were normal and fine and good. And then we got a chicken curry that had a bunch of interesting things in it I can't remember. One of which was mint that was really exciting. And then we got an eggplant dish that had peanuts and a whole bunch of other interesting things. But what we weren't expecting was that all of the interestingly listed ingredients were ground up into a sauce in both cases. And they were a little odd.
Really?
So, yeah, the eggplant with peanut thing, like there was just an awful lot of ground peanut in this sauce. And one of the people thought maybe it needed to be a little sweeter. I'm not sure. And the eggplant was like all skin. And that's the part of the eggplant I don't care for is the tough skin. And so we sort of decided we were glad we tried it. It was interesting. I always like to try new things in general, but there's not a lot of Indian restaurants that have things that I've never seen on a menu before. So we thought that was cool. But
and for the one with a lot of peanut, you like peanuts too.
I do, exactly. But the texture of it was peculiar. And it was just a little odd. So it was good, but it was the only one of the 3 that I would order again if I were going to go back to that particular restaurant.
Okay.
It was the masala.
All right.
Tikka masala. But yeah, it was good. It was fun.
Nice.
And then way later in the evening, there were some Triscuits and cheese spread.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
Classic.
I know, because I got over there at like 4, so we had a really early dinner, and then by later in the evening, there were some Triscuits involved. It was good.
Was the cheese spread in a jar? Was it in a can?
It was
How
in
did
a
it come
plastic
out?
tub. It was Merkt, M-E-R-K-T. I think that might be a local Chicago brand. I'm not sure, but it's like pub cheese, sort of.
Nice.
And it's tasty. And the Triscuits were black pepper and sea salt, or black pepper and olive oil. And I haven't had a Triscuit in a long time, and I forget. I really enjoy them.
Oh, I do love a good Triscuit. Wheat Thin is still my preferred cracker, but Triscuit I can get into.
Yeah, I don't care for Wheat Thins, although I had one that was flavored, I think, and I liked that.
Those are way better than the regular Triscuits, yeah.
Yeah, well, the black pepper and olive oil, I'd never tried flavored Triscuit, and that was also, I'm like, these are extra specially good Triscuits.
I love the rosemary flavored Triscuits.
Yes, me too.
Those are really good.
Those are the kinds of things that I can't keep in the house because I'll just eat them really quickly.
I feel like we should get paid by Triscuit now.
Yes, exactly. Bye, Triscuit.
Oh my God.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of You Won't Believe What I Ate Last Night. I'm Kate.
And I'm Rick.
And this is our ongoing conversation about food, health, weight management, and our endeavor to be and stay healthy in a tasty world.
With love, kindness, and compassion towards ourselves and others. Hey, Kate, I have something to say to you.
Yes?
Season 5.
Season 5 of what?
Our show.
Our show! I assumed you were talking about a television series that we enjoy.
Can you believe it?
Oh my gosh, no. That is crazy. Yay, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, You Won't Believe What I Ate Last Night. Season 5 of You Won't Believe What I Ate Last Night is brought to you by Smart Building Technologies.
Thank
a great
you,
supporter
Smart
of the
Building Technologies,
podcast.
for your sponsorship.
A leading provider of building automation solutions, bringing smart technologies along with energy savings to the workplace. Find out more at smartbuildingtech.com. That's smartbuildingtech.com. So today's episode is about food trends, something we're very excited about talking about every year because we're always looking to see what's in the hopper, what's hot.
Yeah, so before we get into the food trends that they with the capital T, who know the things that they tell us are coming, I wanted to look back briefly at what they said the trends were going to be for last year and see how successful they were.
God, you are really organized. I mean, what a great producer we have that got you all this information.
That's right. We'll give Janice the credit on that. All right, oat milk. I agree. That was a food trend.
That was a food trend, yeah.
CBD infused foods. Definitely a trend.
Definitely a trend. Everyone's talking about it.
Impossible burgers.
Gosh,
was definitely a trend. Acai bowls was definitely a trend. And street corn. Certainly in Chicago, that was a trend.
Wow, I did not see street corn. But good job. Good job,
I know.
They.
And avocado toast, which has been a trend for like 10 years, but whatever.
Like it won't die.
Bubble tea. Boba and bubble tea.
Mm-hmm.
Brunch, like, again, I don't know, like, when has brunch not been a trend? And themed cafes, like cat cafes.
Really? Wow. I did not run into any themed cafes. We ran into a plant-themed cafe when we were on our trip in Brussels.
Which I have not, I know, which I told you there's now one in Chicago. Plant cafes are now a thing.
It's amazing. Surrounded
There's
by
one
plants.
opposite my Trader Joe's. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I was part of the themed cafes. That's good to know.
And there is a cat cafe in Chicago, which I have not been to, but apparently it is truly a thing.
Does it have live cats?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's partnered with a shelter, so I guess their hope is that you're going to adopt one. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Take me there next time I'm there, would you please?
Yes, I would love to, because I would like to go. I just have to remember to take some allergy stuff. Yeah. So, what's coming up?
All right. Have you heard of glitter wine?
No.
Well, apparently we have all of the millennials to thank for this. It seems that the alcohol industry just can't keep up with the rising, changing trends of millennials. Due to the popularity of Instagrammable drinks, they're all carrying this thing called glitter wine or even glitter-filled fizzers. The latter is something you can drop into your drink to make it fizz up like a bath bomb. Glitter wine is, well, extremely attractive and swirly glitter-filled wine. Never seen it.
I want to know what they make that glitter out of.
I know.
Because glitter, I've seen in other contexts, not food context, is like, we need to stop using glitter.
Yeah, it seems pretty toxic and terrible, doesn't it?
Yeah, apparently it is. So it must be edible. Obviously, it's edible glitter, and
I'm thinking.
But that's fascinating. I wonder. Okay, no, I don't know how. I have not seen that at all.
Zip, nothing on it.
Speaking of alcohol, one of the trends that I've seen is the lack of alcohol in the mocktail movement.
Really?
Yeah. So, and I have actually seen this here in Chicago, that there's an uptick in I hear that there's actual full mocktail bars. Like there's full bars that don't serve alcohol, but they're basically a bar. Yeah. And there's a lot of non-alcoholic drinks I now notice on menus. There's a much, much better selection.
I'd agree with you on the selections of menus. I can't believe a whole bar is dedicated to it. How does it make any money?
Well, they probably still charge $7 for a juice. Yeah. So the alcohol-free cocktail movement has come in, and that's cool, because I'm sure that there's people either who don't drink or who don't want to drink on a given night, but who still would like something fun. Yeah. And creative. So, totally. And people who want to still be part of, like, pop culture and culture, but who are sober. Right. So, yeah.
All right. Have you heard about the new trend supposedly coming called cross-cultural cuisine?
Well, tell me more.
Well, just the idea that more restaurants are going to be opening up that are themed between two particularly different cultures, like Chinese, Peruvian, French, Scandinavian.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
Well, over the years when I've been to those kinds of places, more have been unsuccessful, in my opinion, than have been successful.
Yes, I'm always suspicious if someone thinks they can handle two cuisines well.
And when they do, I'm like, I bow down.
Yes, agreed.
But a lot of times I'm like, I don't think this Mexican and Chinese food goes together. I just don't.
God.
Just because you wrap it in a corn tortilla doesn't make it, I don't know, it's just weird.
Yeah, totally. There's a restaurant that I drive by that has changed hands over time, and it now has 4 different types of cuisines listed underneath the title.
Have you been
tough.
there?
No, not since it. No, I used to go there many years ago when it was a place that I liked. Oh, it's that place called Banana Cafe that had the piano bar upstairs that you and I used to
yes,
go to.
we liked that place back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah. The other thing that they're saying is going to become a trend is hyper-regional cuisines. So restaurants and chefs try to spice up the consumer boredom by offering hyper-regional cuisine. This is from Food and Wine. They're saying it's a great way to learn about the food of other cultures, regional food. So Mexican restaurants will be specializing in some place like the Yucatan or Veracruz. Super interesting. That I'd definitely be into trying. Definitely more so than the cross-cultural cuisines.
I agree. Yes, it's like the opposite, right?
Yeah.
One of them is like, how many foods can we fit in this kitchen? And the other one is like, how narrow can we get? Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the reasons Rick Bayless has always been so successful is I think he really is specific to regions. You just brought up Mexico, so that was in my head, I guess. But yeah. One of the things that I noticed as a trend in the trends is generally moving toward sustainable, eco-friendly cuisine and kitchens.
Right.
And that pleases me greatly.
Yeah. The more we can make animals a focus in our life and the less we can make them a focus on our plate, the better off.
And so not only about the animals, sustainability and kindness to the animals, but also in general, other things generally to do with the environment regarding even soil and biodiversity of soil and biodegradable cleaning products and things like that, that in general are taking a bigger look at the footprint, carbon footprint and general use of resources. So that's really cool.
I love that. I came across that and I found it in an article that was called Regenerative Agricultural Cuisine. Choosing brands that work with farmers and other partners that prioritize regenerative practices in one way to help the environment. Yeah. It typically refers to managing levels of carbon by improving biodiversity and restoring oil. Whole food items from companies currently using regenerative agriculture practices include I don't need to say all that. That's all done.
I stopped listening.
Yeah. Thank God. I was like, what? What am I even reading?
Here is a quote from one of our favorite chefs, Kwame Onwuachi from Kith and Kin in Washington, D.C., which we've talked about a number of times on this podcast. And he says there will be more family-style offerings. I think most restaurants will start offering this even in fine dining. The act of sharing a plate with someone is so ancestral. It not only encourages conversation, but makes dining a more communal act and team sport. What are your thoughts on this family-style dining, Rick?
I could not want to do it any less than it's being done now. I have no desire to do it. I have no interest.
Right. Like, look at how little our food preferences overlap.
Agreed. We're lucky if we get an
I don't want us to
appetizer.
have to only order things that we both can agree on.
Yeah. And you usually get so much of that one dish that I never want to eat everything that's come. Now, I'm also thinking of places that do this already, and they tend to be, what image comes to mind? Like a trough. But I don't know.
I think they're thinking more like tapas. The picture under this section in the article looks more like tapas.
Okay. All right.
It's definitely small plates that are to be shared.
I struggle enough with that as it is, even going out with 4 or 5 people.
And yes, or even going out with one person. It's so rare that we want to eat the same thing. And I really don't like when I go into a restaurant and am informed that I'm expected to share with whoever.
Yes, totally.
And the server says it like, no, this is how you do it here.
Do you ever feel any pressure when you sit down with friends and they're like, we're just going to share stuff, yeah? and no one's actually decided that. Someone's just sort of declaring it. How do you feel about that?
It depends on the cuisine. I'm comfortable with that with Asian food for some reason. Like, I'm okay with that with Indian food and with Chinese food to an extent and Thai food usually.
Okay.
I find that those generally, there's enough easy stuff that everyone likes that it works out for me. But otherwise, I don't know why I'm okay with it in those situations and not like if we went to a burger place, I'd be like, no.
Totally. And I'm with you as far as the Indian and the Chinese, because I want to do that only in the places where I want to sample many, many, many of the flavors and the dishes that they have.
That's the advantage. I would much rather have, like the Indian place I just talked about at the beginning of this episode, I would rather have a little bit of each of those three things than a whole plate full of any one of them.
Yes, totally. If I can springboard off that idea for a second, one of the trends I found was the sophistication of kids' menu. So they're saying, forget about chicken nuggets and mini pizzas. And I find that hard to believe. But in 2020, kids in 2020, kids will see a menu makeover complete with choice and range. This means that parents are more interested in exposing their kids to different kinds of food at a much younger age, which we have to applaud. That's sort of the best thing you can do for your kid, is just get them to eat as many different things as they can.
Yeah, that is good.
I say, did you come across anything called meat blends as a trend?
No.
I found it so hard to figure this out, and I think I finally figured it out. They're talking about meat blends and that they're going to blend actual meat with other meats, like different kinds of meat that the normal ones we're interested in. So one of the things mentioned is the Blended Burger Project, which aims to blend their meat with 25% fresh mushrooms. This is both healthier and cheaper for both producers and consumers. So this idea that they're going to blend other things into the meat. What do you think of that?
Oh, I think it's interesting as a way to cut down on meat and increase vegetables in a way that a lot of people might not notice or mind.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. But if they try to sneak mushrooms into my burger without telling me, I would not be happy because I don't like mushrooms. But if I did, I think that would be delicious.
I like the idea of it, particularly, again, because of the animal thing, but it also seems a little tricky because I think, gosh, then you're going to have to provide, it's a whole nother list of people to have a problem with.
What do you mean?
You know, if they put all these different things in burgers, they're going to have to list what's in it. And then everyone's going to be like, oh, I don't like this. I don't want that.
I see. Yes, exactly.
God. It just seems like a lot of management going on, but.
Yeah. Well, I'm all in favor of trying it. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
One of the melding blends I read about is called itameshi cuisine. Did you read that?
No.
It translates into, it's how you say Italian food in Japanese, and it's the melding of Japanese and Italian cuisines.
I don't know what to say.
I know, because Italian is arguably my favorite type of food, and Japanese is one of my least favorite, so I don't know what to do about that.
Is there any description of what a dish might look like or taste like?
Well, apparently, there are categorical foods that echo one another, so crudo and sashimi, spaghetti and ramen, wood-fired whole roasted meat. So apparently the people, whoever they are claiming that at first glance these foods seem really different, but if you really look closer, there's a lot of complements to each other.
Interesting. All right. I'm 50-50.
Yeah.
I'd try it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I like those cuisines.
Yeah.
I'm suspicious, but I'd try it.
Yeah.
From thekitchen.com, which is a fun website if you just want to go and like sort of check stuff out and get some information on what's going on in the food world. They're saying a big thing to look forward to, and I thought this was really interesting, was grocery delivery wars.
Oh.
Because they say years ago, only a few grocery deliveries services existed and were meant for people who either lived in big cities or those that had money to spare. But nowadays, everyone's in the competition. Shipt, Aldi, Walmart, Target, boxed. We know Amazon, Peapod. And they're saying that now that so many of these services exist, shoppers are more trusting of online grocery shopping than ever. They only expect it to get bigger. As more options enter the marketplace, price accessibility increases as well, which means more convenience for shoppers. I'm stunned by this. I find it so fascinating.
I wonder about what that I wonder about what that reflects in terms of the environment. Like, I'm wondering if it is. My initial response is, wow, that has to be worse. But is it? Maybe it's not. Maybe me driving to the store is just as bad as them delivering it to all these people at once. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a valid question, and I think it's still early. We're out on it. Like, it's sort of how I get a little caught up about the whole Uber and Lyft thing, because I get it. It's really affordable for a lot of people. You can get around a lot more. The whole not having to drink and drive thing is sort of wonderful. But, I mean, when you look at how these cities are struggling with all the additional vehicles on the road, what that does to the carbon footprint, the use of oil, I mean, like, I can't imagine it's that awesome.
Totally.
So I feel the same
and
thing.
The huge congestion fee that's now about to be charged in New York City, which everybody says is 100% because of ride shares.
Wow.
Clogging up the roads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Well, it's interesting. And I know people who get their groceries delivered, and it seems there's a lot about it that's appealing. Even when you know how busy I was last year, it was never something I would consider. Partly because I enjoy picking out my groceries. I actually like going to the grocery store, as you know. It's my thing. When we travel, I like to go into grocery stores in foreign countries and see how people shop. And I like going to the store. It's something my dad and I used to do on weekends, and it was fun. I don't know. I just like it. So there's that. And I'm very picky about my produce.
Me too.
So there's a number of things, and often I'll look at and I'll see what's on sale of a couple of choices, and I'll pick, you know what I mean? So I won't there's choices I would like to have control over. So I would have to be a lot busier than I can even imagine before I would personally want to use that. But if I had kids and was dealing with that, I think it would be a real boon.
Yeah. And I guess also if you're thinking that grocery shopping is one of the few things that prevents you from staying healthy in a tasty world, right? Because what is that every week to go shopping? Easily an hour. And that's if you sort of are in and out, organized, and you're quick, right? So I guess it's a good advantage that way, that you're more likely to eat better if you can at least have that food show up. If you have time to cook it, that'll...
Yes,
that's
good. Right. Yeah. And I have my amazing produce store that I can walk to and that I pass a Trader Joe's whenever I go most places. So that is also true. The convenience of being so close to the grocery stores is important.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that I buy from, I rarely shop at a regular grocery store like Jewel. I shop at harvest time for produce and specialty foods and deli items, and I shop at Trader Joe's for things you can only get at Trader Joe's.
Right.
So that's the other thing, is I'm loyal to certain things that would be tricky. Here's one that you're going to like, and that vindicates and validates some of the things that you and I have talked about. There is going to, here's the quote: restaurants are going to go back to being accommodating to guests. And making that an emphasis.
Wait, what?
I know. No more declining guest needs. We'll see restaurants start to be more accommodating again. Service being a key to that. So hospitality coming back is one of the trends, and no one ever announced it went away, but we'd been wondering.
Well, that is a rich trend. That's what I have to say. Real rich. I cannot wait to report back in 2021 and see if that came to fruition.
And for some reason, California has now allowed foie gras to come back.
Why, California? Why?
Right?
What do you make of experience dining?
Oh, is that like the when you dine in the dark?
Yeah. So this
I've
is
never done anything like that.
I don't think I have either. But before this conversation, and I didn't realize I ate at a themed cafe. So there you go.
Yeah.
So they're saying that we ranked hundreds of the world's most Instagrammable cafes. And this is like, I don't know about you, Kate, in my research, the amount of times that Instagram influenced trends, predictions, I can't take it. It makes me feel 90 years old.
Wow.
But they're saying they've ranked the most Instagrammable cafes and hottest new restaurants. And if there's one thing they're sure about, it's the hottest food trends in 2020 will be experience dining. From, wait for it, projection mapping onto tables, which actually looks really cool because it's a dimly lit room and they put great patterns and stuff on your table and your plates, to dining in the dark. It goes up to include extravagant affairs that are full of smoke, mirrors, and thematic treats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun. I would totally do that.
I know. I feel like that's something I got to sort of get, I don't know, someone else to pay for. Seems like a good company event.
I'm sure it would be expensive
because
it is. I know, but it's one of those things that I like to go out to dinner as my whole evening's entertainment. And so that would be a nice way to make it more interesting than just the meal.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Lots of trends around vegetables, increased health, healthier kitchens, the bad boy attitude of kitchens and chefs, they say might be changing with these younger people coming into charge, more women being in charge.
Oh, interesting.
So there's definitely trends toward health in the kitchen as well as on the plate.
That's
so
good.
That's interesting. Yep. Interesting breads, apparently, with antique grains and heritage wheats.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah. This one surprised me, and we'll see. Sherry.
What?
Sherry has been predicted. The drink. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm. CBD isn't going anywhere, so that's still on the lists.
That's only getting bigger and better, isn't it? It's amazing.
It really is. Have you ever had that?
No.
No.
Have
me
you?
neither. No.
My sister has it. She just mentioned that to me last night. I'll have to ask her about it.
Well, my understanding, I've talked to a lot of people about it over the couple of years, and it's funny. Some of them swear by it, and some of them are like, no, it's snake oil.
Huh.
And I think that it probably could be either. I imagine that depending on the preparation, it might or might not, because there's no, what's the word? There's no governance of it, you know?
Yeah. Regulation.
So thank you, is the word I was looking for. There's no regulation, so it really could be anything. And I think just like anything else, some are going to be better than others. And then it probably depends on your constitution and depends on what's wrong with you and what it might or might not do. But I definitely know people who swear by it for pain and anxiety and various other things.
Wow, nice. All right.
And we just got legal cannabis here in Chicago, so it's going to be everywhere here, I bet.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
From the Huffington Post, I thought this was fun. It said their article is called 9 Food Trends That Need to Calm Down in 2020. I sort of loved it because I'm like, they are right. I'm like, knock it off. First, I won't go through all of them, but one, the avocado toast because of how expensive it is out, and it's so easy to make at home. Another one was gluten-free when you don't need to eat gluten-free. Just stop it.
Yeah. Just stop it.
The keto diet.
Yeah. We're going to come back to that because we'll be talking about the best and worst diets in a future episode. So we'll be talking more about keto because that made the list in a perhaps surprising location on the list.
They said that apparently with the keto diet, the first rule of the ketogenic diet is that you have to tell everyone that you are on the ketogenic diet. Right.
It's like CrossFit.
Believing plant-based meat alternatives are perfect. Well, we know that's we've known that. So unicorn anything, instead of making the topping delicious, we color them and moved ever closer to living in a Skittles commercial.
I guess now we're just going with glitter instead.
Way to bring it back, Kate DeVore. Way to bring it back.
I listen.
They're also over expensive juices. They're also over celery everything. And what else? This is great. Food created for the gram.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
the
so
gram.
done. Yeah. And they're saying, let's be honest, most of the food out there on the Instagram is designed for Instagram rather than for the belly. I'm like, true that.
There's a Filipino dessert called ube that I've seen on a number of these lists also, which is sort of like a snow cone with fruit and maybe some sort of creamy something in there. Huh. It's very pretty and colorful also, so I wonder if that's partly why it's so popular is because it's pretty.
Right.
So, y'all, we're going to start a new segment on our show where we recommend new products or foods or something that are relatively new to us that we want to recommend to you. Mm-hmm. So, our first one.
So amazing. Black garlic salt.
Yes.
So
it is black
amazing.
Garlic salt from a store in Chicago called Savory Spices, which is a small chain. I think there might be 2 actual stores here, but you can order online from them. And Savory Spice or Spices, I can't remember. But their black garlic salt has, do you have it with you? Can you read the ingredients?
Yeah, I'll grab it. Hold on. All right, so here are the ingredients. Himalayan pink sea salt, Mayan seasonal black garlic, chili flakes.
Yeah, some kind of chili flakes with a Japanese word, if I remember correctly.
Granulized garlic.
So, but black garlic is fermented, right? And so it has like a funky taste to it. And this garlic salt just tastes like garlic salt on steroids. Like,
Yeah.
you don't really notice the chili flake, I don't think. The spicy stuff doesn't stand out at all. But what it is just like a garlic salt punch to the mouth. It's so intense and it's so delicious. I gave it to a lot of people for Christmas this year.
Including me.
Last year. Yes, including you.
And it's I was going to say, it's a really wonderful thing that's so easy to add flavor to something on your dish. I had made avocado toast this week, so it was a great thing just to sprinkle on that. So a great way to increase your flavor very quickly without doing a lot of work. That's what I like most about it.
Yeah, exactly. So I love it on avocado, salads in general, eggs in general. I have been known to just put it on buttered toast, like use unsalted butter and then some of that. I put it on some chicken that I had left over that needed some amping up. That's the other thing. I've had leftovers and I'm like, this needs a little help.
Yeah.
It's good on that.
I put it on a little plain white rice I had left over. I heated the rice, put it on there. Super perfect. Because then I didn't have to chop the garlic and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was great.
Obviously, popcorn.
Popcorn.
It's amazing on popcorn.
Yeah.
I'm sure other things. Oh, I think I might have put it on a burger or some kind of meat that I was cooking. Like instead of salt and pepper, I put that and pepper. Yeah. So that is our recommendation of the week. Savory spices,
Black garlic salt.
So that's our discussion of the upcoming trends. Let us know what trends you notice and if there's anything that you think it's time to go away as a trend. You can let us know on Facebook. You can follow us there. You can email us at youwon'tbelievewhatIate@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram and our website, youwon'tbelievewhatIate.com. And please take a second to rate and review us. Give us a 5-star rating and give us a little review. It really helps other people find us. So thank you so much, and thank you to everybody who's already doing that.
Happy trending.